have experienced them through male and female. Yes, and I'm sure that you have experienced this kind of topic that we're going to discuss, the content of this topic, and that is Scadian, the joys and the woe of friendship.
Boy, I'm laughing because indeed we all can relate to it.
Yes, indeed. And that is why Georgette, Trisha, and Simone, we're so happy to have you beautiful ladies again. Every time we join in this conversation, it's always a beautiful experience.
Yes, it is.
Now, this evening, we're going to talk about a very beautiful topic, and I can see the smiles on your faces, especially Trisha and Georgette. You epitomize our topic this evening, and that is the joys and woe of friendship. How do we get to put joy with woe in friendship?
It's just the reality.
Kadian said it's just the reality.
Yeah.
You want to go, Georgette, or you want me to start?
Go ahead, Trisha. Let's hear you.
All right. So, true friendship is a relationship built on trust, loyalty, honesty, and respect. So, without respect, we can't maintain a relationship. And we have to be loyal. Without loyalty, then the friendship will not exist. It also takes discipline to maintain your relationship. It also takes love and a lot of prayers as well. Because we have to pray for a friend and we have to be a friend before we can acquire a friend.
And I'm happy that you say that, Trish, because now we're going to establish what is friendship. What is friendship?
Okay.
Georgette.
It is that trusting relationship, as Trisha shared, being dependable, loyal, trustworthy. That's the relationship that exists between persons.
Okay.
We celebrate our wins and we don't just celebrate our wins, but we stand beside our friends through
Good and
difficult
bad.
periods,
Yes.
through sad times, and through the desolate times. You're right there.
And the reality, that's what separates the real friends from the fake friends. Those bad times.
We're going to get to that, Katie. You mentioned the real and the bad. So let's put the joy with the real and the bad with the woe and, the mix up of it. But I know Georgette wanted to say something.
They say a good friend is better than money.
Yes.
What is a saying that we have? Good friend is better than money. Because when you are at your lowest, when you need someone to depend on, you really need a good friend. And I find that when you are having trouble, that is when you know who your friend really is. Because people tend to want to be around you when everything is going well and when everything is good and when they can have fun. But when you are sick and you can't move around, when you are broke and you have no money, when you have to spend time with a sick parent or a sick child and you can't pay attention to those friends anymore, you can't hang out with them, that is when you find out who your real friends
It's
are.
trains, yes.
Yes.
Or you share something with them and they go tell the world.
Okay, we're going to get to that.
Confidential.
Yes, we're going to get to that. But we want to, Simone, establish this whole idea and this bond of friendship. Because I'm sure the Bible also exhibit what good friends are in the Bible. But Simone, let me hear your perspective of what you see as a good friend, who you see are the qualities of a good rooted friend.
So someone who I can depend on, someone who can also depend on me. So the relationship or the friendship is mutually beneficial to both of us. from that person, I can gather strength and they can gather strength from me. We're not draining each other, but we're uplifting and empowering each other because I want the best for that person and the person also wants the best for me.
That sounds amazing. And I know
Yes.
Trisha and Georgette share a good bonding, a good friendship. I want to ask you both now, because you're part of this discussion. When did you realize that your friendship was just more than a normal friend, but this one is a special, reliable friend, someone you can lean on, someone who understands you? At what point in your friendship did you realize that this is something worth maintaining?
Go ahead, Trisha.
Now we're getting to the meat of the matter.
You're on the hot seat. I see.
It just happened. So, all right. So I met Georgette because of my profession. So Georgette always wants her here to do wee hours when she coming from work. So she would call and say, um, can you wait for me to get my, and I said, sure. No problem. And I would wait for her. Even when there's nobody in the salon, I would just wait for her and get her hair done. And just by both of us being in that space, but by ourselves, that connection happened. But when we started getting close was when I got married. So when I got married, she was head cook and bottle washer in the wedding. She was assisting and she was helping to ensure that the guests were being taken care of.
Hospitality.
And then the Sunday after I got married, she invites my husband and I, well, ex-husband now, to her home. And, that was my first time being at her home. And I remember her husband said to me, when he shook my hand, he said, you remind me of my wife. And he said to my ex-husband now that, listen, you have to be careful of that woman, because if she's like the one I live with, you have to be strong. In my mind, I was like, really? This is somebody who I emulate and would want to be like. Anyways, we grew from there and we realized that I trust her, to share things, and I recognize that she started trusting me too. And, we started talking about situations and she encouraged me to move from the level that I am to where I truly want to be. I remember when I was doing psychology, I didn't have the money and I didn't know where to get the money from. And she said to me, Trisha, you have a credit card, right? And I said, yes. And she said, so why you don't pay the installments in months? So every month you pay $500 and then you pay back that credit card. And I did just that. And I remember I am a trichologist today because of Georgette.
So I want to pause a minute there, Trish. I want to pause there. You mentioned a very vital word, trust. Trust. So you're now saying to me that friendship, you have to establish trust in a friendship.
Yes. So, all right. So I'm a very good what do you call it now? Judge of character, and knowing the person that she is, because I take time out to know people, and the way how she takes care of me when I'm doing her hair. Remember, I'm just her stylist, but the conversation that we have, her aura allowed me to open to her, so I could say anything to her, and I felt comfortable saying things to her. You understand? And then, she loves the Lord. I think that was what drew me to her. She really loves the Lord, and that is something I think I was lacking. I was depending on myself.
Yes. So Georgia, let's have your perspective when you met Trish. When did you realize?
Funny enough, what drew me to Trisha? So I met Trisha through my sister, Colette. And in fact, the first time I associated with Trisha, I was invited by chance to this wedding. I didn't know Trisha. So I went to the wedding with Colette. And, Colette is usually somebody who's head cook and bottle washer. And so I ended up assisting her with Trisha. So that's how we met. But long and short of it was, Trisha became my hairstylist. And I was just always so amazed at how inspiring Trisha was. I keep telling Trisha doesn't understand the power that she has. Trisha is very inspirational. And she was just this young entrepreneur, just bright and ambitious and
Yeah.
going places. And I saw great potential in her from very early. I know that Trisha is gonna be great. Trisha is one of those persons who is gonna be one of our leaders in this country one of these days.
All right. I
She
love
just doesn't
that.
know it. She doesn't know it, but she is. Very Trisha is one of those persons who the community has a lot of trust in. She gets things done. She's respected by the community and she is respectful. But for me personally, I have found Trisha to be really just an excellent friend. Uh, that's one of my blessings. I don't have a lot of friends, but I've always been blessed to have very, very good friends. And for me, the little things, I remember being ill. I was ill for a week with kidney stones, really painful. And Trisha doesn't leave her work for anything, right? You can't get Trisha to leave her work to go sport with you or go to the beach with you or anything like that with you. But Trisha left every single day to cook soup and carry a pot of soup every single day for me for that week that I was home. So those are the little things. Things like, I am home and I'm rushing to the hospital with my mother-in-law, and Trisha says, I'll come and stay with the children for you. And she leaves our house in the middle of the night and she comes and stays with my babies. So just dependable, not asking for anything in return,
Yes.
I sometimes have to say to Trisha, you need to say no, and it's okay for you to say no to me. But she'll get upset with me because I say no. Why can't you say no? And she says that
That's
she
the only
refuses
thing
to
we
say.
quarrel about. Guys, audience, that's the only thing we quarrel about. Because this woman always wants me to say no when I have doing things for
You
her
can't
gives me
say no.
pleasure. No, it
Yes.
makes me happy, gives me pleasure to do things for her. And it's
It is
not
a
a bother. It's not a bother.
it is amazing to sit in and lean into this
Yeah.
conversation because there we have it, viewers. We have the real hardcore experience of what a good friendship is all about. And that is what we're talking about, the joys of friendship. Both of them have experienced what it is to enjoy the friendship on each side. But Kadian, have you ever really experienced friendship in the way that they are explaining to anyone, any person that you can consider?
I have good friends that I can, well, very few. And I think that is the thing too. When you have good friends, it's usually in small numbers. Those. So I have good friends that I know that have my back, and I'll have their back as well. Yes, but I'm not sure if it is to this magnitude.
It's a Ruth and Naomi type of thing here,
This
right?
is a David and Jonathan type of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's beautiful to listen to.
Yes, and it
Yeah, to see
encourages.
such
And I'm
friendship.
happy
Yes.
that you mentioned that, Kadian, because I have had I would say a wide circle of good friends. Like if I start naming them right now, this program wouldn't end. And you all know yourselves, old, young, middle age, everyone who comes in contact with me, we have shared a bonding that is second to none. And I appreciate all of you. Simone, have you ever enjoy this type of Ruth and Naomi, Jonathan, and that type of friendship with anyone that you've come in contact with?
I wouldn't say that I've had the experience that they've had, but like Kadian said, I do have some close friends, very few. But I think what we have is sufficient for me,
Yes.
and I think God gives us what we need. And so I am satisfied with the
Yes.
friendships. Obviously, I'm going to do what I can to build on those relationships.
Yes.
But there have been people who have been there for me, and I also am there for them. And especially when it comes with my son, I had to rely on some friends. There were times when I needed daycare or he
Mm-hmm.
was sick and I had to go to work and they were willing to take him in. I remember one day I was trying to call a friend and I called and I couldn't get any response and I literally showed up at the house with
Really?
him. When I got there, she was still sleeping and it was
Uh-oh.
not a bother for her. You know, she
Yes.
took him, she stayed with him that day. I was able to go to work and then come back and pick him up. So those are some of the examples that I have where, you know, I may not have hundreds of friends,
Mm-hmm.
but the few that I have, they've always been there for me, and I'm grateful for that.
Yes.
So the question I want to ask this evening is, when does a friendship becomes a burden?
When it is
Look at
one-sided.
Trish.
When it's one-sided,
Mm-hmm.
when, because I've had friendships that is a burden and, you have to drop them. When every time they want something, they call you and they don't check in on you until they need something.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the phone ring and you look at it, oh, where she want to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
You understand?
Mm.
And then when hi, how are you? You say, oh, can you do? I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it really becomes a burden at that time. And
Mm.
it feels heavy,
Mm.
feels very heavy. So it has to be a balance. And
With
when,
friendship, with friendship, you also have to establish boundaries. And I think when people can't respect your boundaries, sometimes that is when you have to
Part
withdraw from that
company.
friendship. Yeah.
Yes.
yes,
Mhm.
that's true, Simone, because when it is that, for example, Georgette and if I, I think one of the reasons why we are friends for so long is that I respect Georgette a hundred
Mhm.
percent, and I know the things that triggers her. I know the things that she appreciates. And because I know the things that she appreciates and I care about her so deeply, I often do the things that I know she likes. And
Mm.
also, if it is that, I mean, I know her job is very strenuous. And if I know that she has a situation, I don't wait on her to ask me to
Yes.
sort it out for her. I volunteer myself to say,
Mhm.
you want me to get that done for you? And sometimes I don't ask her, I go ahead and do it
Wow.
because I know that, she's pressured and she really wants to get something else done.
Yes.
So that's what I tend to do for her. And she does the same for me too. Because if she knows I'm doing something, she'll call me and say, Trish, I'll do this for you. Is it? And she know too principled. She'll ask me if it's okay. Because she is the
Yes.
principal one. She is the doing it the right way one. And I always tell people that she's the mother. Honestly,
Yes.
she's the mother. And don't go out with Georgette and late. Because if you're late, you're not going to hear the end of it.
Mhm.
So because she's the mother, I act like the daughter or the younger sister.
Yeah, okay.
She's going to
So,
rope
I
me
think one of the things
anytime.
yes, Georgette.
I think one of the things with friendship is that and again, that is probably why Trisha and I are friends. Trisha is really a person who is always willing to accept when she's wrong. So, I remember I called her one morning and she said, yeah, so, so I'll talk to you later. So I didn't talk to her for about 2 days. So then I called her back
Just
and I
because
said
she
to
answer
her,
you, yeah?
Yeah.
yes, yes. I said I
It was
don't
say,
appreciate
hi,
anybody speaking
George.
to me as if I am a bother. I don't like that. She said
Okay.
no, she didn't mean that at all. That, it was just her way of doing things. So I said to her, that may be your way, but it offends me.
Mhm.
Um, and sometimes you do things that you don't recognize how it affects someone else. And
Yes.
that's the thing about Trisha. Once you tell her about something that you don't like, she'll never do it again. She's gonna
Yes.
change. She's going to adapt. She's going to, and we discussed in our last show compromise. Compromise really is about
Mm.
trying to make the person who you love comfortable, and so you
Yes.
know the things that will affect them, and you try your best not to
Avoid
do
it.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Before,
At the
before,
end of the day.
before we take a break, I have one question I want to ask. Do we have to call our friends every day to establish our friendship or to let them know that they are our friends?
It just depends on the type of friendship. It
Okay.
depends on the type of relationship that you have. So, like, I have other persons that I talk to every day and I consider them my friends, but I don't talk to them every day.
Okay.
Maybe not even once a week.
Mm-hmm.
But Georgette and I talk every single day, maybe 2, 3 times for the day. And if 12 o'clock and I don't hear from her, I have to take up the phone and say, your turn, big woman, no. You know, report to me from morning. You understand? Or if I say 5 o'clock and I know she would get home at that time, and normally when she's driving home, she would give me a call, and I say 5 o'clock come and I didn't hear from her, I would call, you reach home already? Yes. So why you never call me? What happened this
So
evening?
you
Yeah.
check up on each other.
Yes.
You
So
have
we
each
know the
other's back.
routine. We
Yes.
know the routine. So if something is wrong with Georgette, I will know. I
Wow.
remember her going on a road trip, work trip. I think it was, I don't remember if it was St. Mary, to do presentation with our work. And it was like 10 o'clock. I knew that it was gonna be long and late and we couldn't hear from her. And I called her husband and he didn't hear from her either because the signal was very bad down there, and I couldn't sleep. I didn't go to my bed. And both
Wow.
she and her husband, both of us were up. We call each other every now and again. He called me, you hear from her? No. You hear? And then immediately when I heard from her, I called him, and then he said, oh, I just heard from her as well. And when
Yeah.
I didn't went to my bed until she was home, and then that's when I went to sleep.
Amen. What a
So
beautiful.
it's just,
Yeah.
as I said, if something is wrong with her, I will know. Because it will not take one day for me not to hear from each
Yeah.
of each other. She
What
does
about
the
the
same
harsh?
thing.
What about the hard things, Trisha, when I have to tell you the truth, the hard truth?
We
No,
will
the
get to that
part.
Nothing
because
but
that
the
now
truth.
we will get to that because that is going to bring us into the woe part of the
Ooh,
whole
yeah.
mix
So
up.
it's not the woe. It's not the
Yes.
woe,
It's
actually.
not what's a benefit.
Yes. But we are going to take a break here because I believe that our viewers are enjoying this discussion. And the good thing about this discussion is that we have the real experience of persons who have established real connection in friendship. We'll take a break and we'll be right back.
Do you have an answered prayer where God has intervened in your life? We would love to hear your story. Please contact us at media@adventistontario.tv, where answered prayers become a reality.
Hey, lady leader.
Yes, you.
Nope, don't look around.
I'm talking to you.
Did you know we're kin?
Yep, we're related.
We're sisters.
Cut from the same cloth.
The same heavenly cloth
Called to be leaders.
And mentors.
Creating spaces.
of kinship.
Kindness.
And connection.
Yeah, that works.
And hopefully meeting some kindred spirits along the way.
That was smooth.
I know, right?
Want to know how?
Sunday, October 25th, 2026.
The Kin Convention.
Hashtag King Khan.
She loves saying that.
I really love saying that.
At the Really Living Center in Mount Hope, Ontario.
Where female ministry leaders
All across Ontario.
Come together.
to be encouraged.
Equipped.
And reminded that
You belong
here.
And because Scripture says, let us consider how we may spur one another towards love and good deeds.
We are bringing you inspiring keynote speakers.
Like her. Equipping and engaging workshops.
And an interactive, full immersive kinesthetic experience.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh, you definitely will.
And don't forget to bring
Someone who you're mentoring.
A future leader with a heart for ministry.
Spaces are limited.
but we want you there.
So register today.
See you at King Khan.
You really do love saying that.
I really do love saying that. And what are you waiting for? You will too. Now click the link and we'll see you soon.
Bye. See you.
Welcome back. I am sure that you were enjoying this beautiful discussion. And the reason why I say it was beautiful is because we feel the connection between these two friends that were established. But Georgette left this conversation with a very potent statement. So, Georgette, let's hear it.
I think one of the hallmarks of friendship is that we are sometimes required to tell each other hard truths, you know? And I would rather hear the truth from Trisha than have a stranger whisper about it any day. You know, it's like standing up in an elevator and you have callaloo in your teeth.
Oh boy.
And everyone is looking
Smiling
at you,
at you.
But
smiling,
nobody's
and
saying
no
it.
one is saying to you something in your mouth.
Yeah.
And I would rather that even a stranger would say to me, Miss, you have callaloo in your mouth, in your teeth, you know. Because that way I would have an opportunity. It would probably be embarrassed
To
because
get
one
yourself
person said
cleaned
it
up.
to me, but it prevent me from being embarrassed before 100
Further.
persons.
Mm-hmm.
I think the role as a friend. I remember years ago I had a friend in university, and she was really behaving really badly. And when I spoke to her about it, she said, "Why don't they come and tell me about it?" And I said to her, "I am your friend, and that is why I have to be the one to tell you about it, because that's my job." You know, so there are some people who don't like the truth and they don't like to be corrected and they don't like people to tell them the truth. So they will not be your friends.
But let's be honest, Georgette. There are some friends that you would tell the truth and that friendship dies out and that's the end of it. Was
That's
that
fine.
real friendship?
I'm
Simone?
not saying it wasn't.
Mhm.
All right, so I have an example because, as I said, she's the mother. And it's not everything, sometimes when she ropes me in, I don't feel good about it. Sometimes I'm embarrassed and sometimes I don't want to hear what she has to say. But when I think about it, it's the truth. And if I'm going to be honest, it's the truth. And Georgette and I are from two completely different backgrounds. So she was socialized different from I was. My socialization is far from hers. However, as Mrs. Oates taught me that life is out there. We take what we want from people and leave what we don't want. And I know that, you were born in the ghetto, but the ghetto wasn't born in you. So you can learn from other people and you can take things from other people that you like to mold yourself and to becoming that person that you truly want to be. Now, I was someone who, anything comes to this brain, I just go and spill it out. And I remember I got in an argument and it was really bad. It was really, really bad. And Georgette said to me, she heard about it. And she said to me, when you behave like that, you represent me. And I don't want anybody to represent me like that. Show me your company and I'll tell you who you are. You can't behave like that. And I will not appreciate you behaving like that. You know? And when it feels shame, I'm not telling a lie. Shame, shame. I was really embarrassed about
Yes.
it. And I knew from that moment on that I had to
You have to wear a
change.
different uniform.
Yes, and I had to shape myself into someone different. I remember another time, the place that Shades of Elegance is now, it was rented and there was this guy on the property who was giving me hell. And one day he disrespected one of my clients and I behaved badly, really bad. And she put me in my place again. And she said, if I ever hear you behaving like this again, that's it. I'm done. As much as I love you, I'm done.
So it leaves me to ask the question, Trish. Simone and Kadian can chime in here. When do we grow as friends spiritually? How do friends grow spiritually?
Well, you would know based on the previous shows that we have had that, I was at a dark place, and the person who lifted me out of my darkness was my friend.
Mm-hmm.
And she was the one who always said to me, Trisha, just hold on a little bit longer. Georgette would cry with me. Georgette would pray with me. And while she's praying, she's crying. And she would say to me, the Lord loves you. Just hold on a little bit longer. Don't give
Longer.
up. Don't give up, And she prayed with me through my divorce. She prayed with me through my business failures. She laughed with me through my business
Victories.
successes.
Mm-hmm.
She does everything with me, and I do the same. When Georgette lost her mom, I was so empty because she was suffering, and I didn't know what to do to make her feel better. What I had to do, was to back off. Me backing off wasn't what I wanted to do.
Right.
But I had to back off because she wasn't in a place where we could be chummy as all, because it wasn't business as usual. She was hurting, and I had to allow her to. I mean, I was there, I was integral in everything, but the bond that we had, it was just, it paused,
Yes.
but not in a bad way.
Yes. Because
But
you
I had to
now have to
allow her to go
understand.
through
Yes.
that phase. So spiritually, it's just, we grew spiritually, we grew financially together, we grew in every alley together,
Yes.
in illness. Because I remember she did a surgery a few years ago, and it's like a midi surgery. Like
Kadian,
I
I
was the
want to
one who
hear.
did the surgery.
Kadian, I want to hear you. How does your friend allow you to grow spiritually?
Just continue to through prayer, encouragement, and just affirmations.
Yes. Yeah.
As Trisha has been sharing, like when you're down, just continue to be persistent in your life. As I shared in one of the episodes, that when I was going through my crucible, I had a friend who kept calling. And I knew he was going to pray, and I stopped answering.
Yeah.
And he didn't say, you know what, you're not answering, so I'm not going to. He sent voice messages in prayer. He never stopped to the point where I started to feel bad about it, and I started answering and starting to pray.
And that's when you start coming out.
Yes, he was persistent.
Yeah, that is beautiful.
He kept.
Yes, Georgia.
Guys, I want to make the point though. Pella likes to lead these conversations. But Pella, guys, Sherry, I'm speaking about Sherry. Sherry
Repeat
is
that
a
for me,
good
Georgette.
friend.
Repeat that for me.
Sherry is Pella, but Sherry is a good friend. And Sherry is not just a good friend to me. Sherry is a good friend to a lot of persons. Sherry is one of those persons who shows herself friendly. I remember when I was between 16 and 17, you go through a little phase, that age where you kind of want space from your family. You want space. You're a teenager, you don't really like home, you want a space. And, Sherry took me, I met Sherry at camp. And Sherry took me under her wings, literally. I would come from university and I would go down some weekend. I don't want to go home, so I'd go by Sherry, and things rough for Sherry and she not tell me, but we go there and she cooking food for you. And bad as things are, when you leave Monday morning, she'll put $500 in your hand. I don't know where she get it from. Because as far as I'm concerned, Sherry wasn't working at the time. But she took such good care of everybody, and it wasn't just me. It was several other young people. When I went down there, other people were there on weekends with me. Other young people were there.
That you didn't know.
I didn't know, but she was always taking care. I make the point to say that there are some persons who are friends to others. They may not have have individual friendship, but they care for other people and they take care of other people, and other people depend on them a lot. And Sherry is one of those persons. I want to openly acknowledge that relationship, Sherry. Thank you so
No
much, Sherry.
problem. My pleasure. My pleasure. Simone, have you ever had a friend that make you feel forgotten? And how did that feel? Or left out, for that matter?
Forgotten or left out. I can't say I've had a friend that I would say has caused me to feel that way. I'm trying to think.
If that had happened, it would be on the top of your
Yes.
list, right?
Yes. So that
I
means
can
Definitely.
all our friends treat her
I can
nicely.
tell you that.
No,
Yeah,
I
can tell
really
you that.
can't say I've had that experience.
Yes.
So
Had bad friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to talk
I've,
about now, the two-sided friends, the double face.
I've had
Nice
them.
in front of you, but not nice behind your back.
Yes.
I've had friends who were openly jealous of me. Friends who spoke negatively around me and of me and made me feel bad about myself. And friends who have had to take a decision to separate myself from. And there are some people like that who are negative. They're not good for you in any way. They are bad for you mentally, emotionally, and there is no other way to say it. Yes, they're not real friends, but they portray themselves to be friends. They latch onto you, and they're there because of what they can get or what they think how they think they
Yes,
can
yes.
use you. Or they use you because there are some people who like to keep people around them who they can show off on, and
Benefit,
they
yes.
seem to be better than those other persons. So, and there are other persons who use you as a punching bag. So they're unkind to you and they say unkind things to you and they make you feel bad about yourself. I'm just
Not
saying,
your friends.
people like that are to be banished. You have to take yourself away from
Strong
them.
words.
You have to separate yourself from people like that. Surround yourself by persons who want to see you do well,
And
who
value you.
value you and value what you bring to them and what you give to them, and value your friendship and the sacrifices that you make for the friendship. All right?
So I am thinking that we also have to establish that there are some people who we have allowed into our circle, but they're not friends.
Belong. Yeah.
I think sometimes we use the word friend
Loosely.
very
Very lightly.
loosely. And so,
Yeah.
this person is my friend, and and then when they turn out to be bad, you realize that they were not your friend. And I think
Yes, but you think of them as your friend. They
Right.
made you
You
believe that
treat
they
them
were
as
your
your
friends.
friend.
Right? You
Yeah.
trusted them.
Yes.
I can't say I've had too many experiences
I
like that.
remember once I was at church and this lady was so nice towards me and I felt like somebody saw me. And in space of 5 minutes having interacted with her, she was an insurance agent and wanted to sell me insurance.
She was just doing her job.
I sat there for a moment and I said, how did I even think that this lady was interested in my, And somebody's laughing, but the reality is some people only see you for what they can get.
gain.
And that is where we're going to lead right now into the prodigal son. Everybody took from him
Until he had nothing.
until he had nothing. Are we supposed to leave ourselves like that to people who call us friends?
No.
We must be as wise as serpents.
Wise as serpents, Simone, Gideon says.
Yes. And
Harmless as a
dove.
dove.
He gives us wisdom. And once you can know who people are, from the get-go, from the first time you interact with them, you can know, because what we should do or what we need to do is to listen, because it will come out in the conversation.
Yeah,
You say, oh,
gradually. Yes.
And
Okay.
how they treat others,
Yeah,
they will also,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
And if
Because
they
who
are
are you?
willing, right, if they are willing to, for example, gossip with you about their friend,
They're gonna gossip about you.
be sure that they're going to be gossip with others about you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Don't think
Yes.
that you are any special,
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the woes of friendship, and then we'll lead right into some of the Bible characters that we know were bonded friends, and then we can close off here. The woes of friendship. Just give some examples of some woes.
Judas. Betrayal.
Betrayal, betrayal.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, if you have a friend and you tell them something and it was supposed to be confidential and they leaked the information,
Not your
then that
friends.
is a betrayal that, can really damage the friendship
Right.
between the individuals.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Irreparable.
I think the worst kind of ones are those who pretend that they are with you to your face, and behind you they are actively cutting you down. Those are
Yes.
the worst kinds of
Wow.
so-called friends.
Mm-hmm.
They're
And
like
they're
the
there, so they're
serpent.
out there.
They're like
They're there.
serpents.
And they're in the church.
And the one that sees you doing the wrong and they smile with you with it, they don't correct you.
Mm.
So the
Yes.
Bible says, faithful are the wounds of a friend,
Mm.
and deceitful are the kisses of the enemy.
Wow.
Right?
This
That's
is
shock.
deep. I
That's
want the
shock.
viewers to tell us what is friendship like for you? How do you establish good friendship and how do you maintain your good friends? And can you just share when was a time you feel betrayed by a friend? Let us know how you feel about that. We're so happy for this conversation this evening. But I want us to just close off with some Bible characters that were very good friends, end up being, showing it in a very special way.
I'd like to talk about Jonathan and David. Such a powerful friendship because it was a friendship that surpassed
Blood.
family and time. Jonathan's dad hated David. You can imagine you having a best friend who your family don't like. Your family don't like. Every time you come there, your friends come to the house. Your friend, why did you bring him here? Kind of thing. But they had such a good relationship. But not only did they have a good friendship, they made promises to each other that
And kept it.
were kept generations later. When Jonathan died, David continued to take care of Jonathan's
Son.
child.
Mhm.
And not only did he take care of him when he became king, he treated him
Sent
like he
for
was
him,
one of the
yes.
prince. He sent for him, gave him land and
Mephibosheth,
everything that a prince should get. You can imagine having a friend that even after you're gone, you are sure that they will look after your
For your
child, that
generation,
your
yeah.
children will be okay as long as that person is alive. They will be okay. That is just a beautiful friendship.
Amen.
To even go a
Can I-
step with that same story, remember Jonathan's father was king. So he would have perhaps be the next heir. But
Right.
God had already anointed David, and this was known. And instead of saying, but he is going to, take the
the
position
Right,
that
true.
I am supposed to get and be jealous, and all he did was he was so loyal to David.
Yes.
That is friendship. To be able to step back and allow your friend to step forward.
Amen.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I just want to put forward the idea that sometimes maybe we expect too much from friends. So my reason for saying that,
Yes.
when we think about Job, you remember Job's friends?
Yes.
I know we love to chastise those men. And I know even Job himself said to them, you are miserable comforters.
Yes.
But when I look at the fact that they showed up for Job, they sat with him for 7 days when he's sitting in the ashes. They were there for him. And I think we need to,
Supportive.
I think we need to give credit where credit is due.
Yes.
We all are humans, we make mistakes, but man, for you to sit with him, or for them to sit with him for 7 days, they didn't say a word. I'm sure they were contemplating what to say, what can I say, should I say anything or not? And yes, they said something, it wasn't quite the right thing, but they were
Yes.
speaking from the
The
information
support.
that they knew at the time. They were saying to Job, if you have sin, confess your sin,
Mhm.
and I know it's a weird situation, but I just want to give credit to those men because they were there for him.
Simone, I really want to add to that point because there are some friends, for example, who come into your life for a period.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's what.
so it's probably just for 1 year or 2 years or 3 years, and they may never ever speak to you again. But that particular time that they were your friends, you needed them.
Yes.
They were there at the right time. And I think we ought to be careful that even though we are no longer friends, that we don't forget what somebody has
Has
done for us in
done
the past.
during our
Right.
journey. Yes.
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 I've had that situation. And even though that person would have deceived me so badly, I always remember, the good that that person would have done. And not just the good, but even the curse that she cursed me and the curse that she placed on my life. I was grateful for it because she's told me that I'm a drowning man catching after a straw and I
Mm.
am going to die of hunger. And those words that she told me would
Wow.
have given me strength to be who I am
To
today.
show better. Yes.
Right. And this person took care of my children, my two children, when, I was working, when they came home from school in the afternoons, they went to her house. She was being paid to do it, but she was the one, and I'm always grateful for that. And because of that, I can't hate her, even though the situation was so bad. I can't hate her for it, and I will never hate her for it. So I really understand what the point that Georgette made just now. It just came to my mind that that relationship was one of the relationship that it was really deceitful because she didn't love me in the first
Right.
place.
Yes.
I
We're so
just
happy
want
that you got
to.
a chance to sit into this conversation because this is real. This is one of the life experience that you have being a person that breathe and live. We have friends, and as a result of that, this discussion helps us to understand. And that is why I can say to you this evening that not every friend is meant to walk with you forever, as what Georgette said. Some persons are assigned for a season, some for a lesson. And just remember, friends are there, but you have to choose wisely. So we thank you so much for joining us this evening in this beautiful discussion space.
Join us next time on Ontario.tv and on Roku and Amazon Fire.
And tune in every Sunday evening at 7 p.m.
When we will discuss something important.
Thank you for joining us. This is Mantled for More.
And never forget that the mantle marks you, but more transforms you. See you next time.